Hi, my name is Rob Groves. I'm here at Squire's new cookery school in Farnham in Guildford. Today I'm going to show you a lovely sweet dessert recipe. Okay, we're going to make flourless chocolate chip cake, which is called torte caprese. It's an Italian cake. It uses sugar, eggs, the usual kind of suspects, but it's kept together with ground almonds. That's the sort of main component of the dish. Right, the first thing you've got to do is take your chocolate into a bain-marie of simmering water and your butter. Okay, the next step is to take our egg yolks, that's 8 egg yolks, and fit it on the machine with our sugar, golden caster sugar, and then we want to beat that on a high speed until it's pale and creamy, light and fluffy. Okay, so our yolks and sugar is just creaming together, and our butter and chocolate is halfway melted. Good. So we've got a vanilla pod, which we'll just scrape the seeds out of and add it into our egg yolk and sugar mix. Okay, brilliant. So that's all up, and that's nice and pale and light now. You can see that? Yep. Now, in another mixing bowl, we're going to put our egg whites. These are the egg whites that were separated from the yolks, and put it in the with the whisk attachment. And so the next stage of this cake process is to get these egg whites up with stiff peaks, lots of air in them. Okay, so our egg whites are now up to a stiff peak, so we've taken those off. And all of our components for this gluten-free cake are now ready to put together. So we've got our egg yolks and sugar, which has been creamed. We've got our chocolate and butter that's been melted together, and then I've just let that cool down to room temperature, so it's not too hot when you're adding the components in. We've got our ground almonds, we've got our chocolate chips, and we've got our stiff egg whites. Okay, so bring them all together. Start with our yolks and sugar. Followed by our chocolate and butter. And our ground almonds. And chocolate chips. What's really good about this cake is it's a gluten-free cake, so it's an option for people who perhaps don't get on particularly well with flour. But also served warm with mascarpone or ice cream or custard. It's a really, really lovely dessert as well. So you've got a couple of different ways you can use this. So everything's gone in so far except for our whites. And we're just going to get those so they're all introduced. And because there's no raising agent, no self-raising flour, no bicarb, none of that business going on, you need to make sure you try and keep the air in it, otherwise the cake will be not great. First of all, add in about a quarter of your whites and mix those through your cake batter. That's just going to introduce the whites to the batter, so that when you add the rest of it, they incorporate without knocking all the air out. Okay, so then the rest of our whites go in. A bit, and then we just want to bring those up together. Here we go. Keeping the air in the cake. Okay, again I'm folding through with a whisk, because I think that's the best way of doing it. Okay, so we've got cake batter here, and we've got our cake tin that I've just lined with some baking paper. This recipe is enough to probably make 2 of these logs, or a big sort of long cake if you wanted to. We'll put in half of our mix. Easy does it. Oh, brilliant. So you've got all your ingredients in there and you can see that it's still got a bit of air going on. No flour, just the ground almonds. We're going to cook this on 165 degrees for about 50 minutes until the knife comes out clean. But just watch out that you don't hit any chocolate chips because that might deceive you. Okay, this is our flourless, gluten-free Torcaprese Italian chocolate chip cake. It's all ready, it's cooled down. Just going to lift it out. Take our baking paper off. It's still a little bit warm, very crumbly. The best way to serve it is to let it cool down and have it as a cake. But if you wanted to, you can always portion it into sort of dessert portions, warm it back up and serve it with whipped cream, mascarpone, whatever you fancy. So let's have a look at him. Ooh. If you serve this warm with a bit of cream, forget about it. There we go. And that's your gluten-free Torcaprese Italian flourless chocolate cake. So that's how you make flourless chocolate cake.